everyone, welcome. Today's recipe, I am making a delicious key lime pie that is paleo and gluten-free. Now we're using some healthy ingredients in this, guys. We're using avocado, which is going to give us our beautiful green color, as well as a creamy texture. And we're going to serve the pie in a crust made with cashews and dates. It's really delicious. So I'm Rockin' Robin, and I'm going to show you how to do it right after this. All right, everyone, let's go over our ingredients. I'm gonna go over the crust ingredients first. So here we go. We're gonna need some cashews. Now these are raw cashews that I got at Trader Joe's, by the way, and I'm just soaking them in some cold water for about an hour. Over here we have some dates, and with these, what I've done is I've just poured some boiling hot water into the bowl and let them soak for about 10 minutes so they're nice and soft and they can be processed in the food processor. I have some shredded coconut here, and with that I'm going to toss this into a dry pan over medium-low heat, and I'm just going to stir it and tend to it until it turns out nice and toasty. Don't take your eye off it though, because it can burn pretty quickly. And we'll also need just a pinch of salt. Now for our filling ingredients. All right, I'm going to be using the other half of the cashews that I have soaking here. I've got 2 avocados. I have half of a banana. That's for a little sweetness, because what I do is I freeze my bananas when they become really ripe, and I put them in the freezer, and then I use them for smoothies. And they have a lot of sugar in them that way, and so it sweetens it up naturally. We'll also need some fresh lime juice. Now if you can find key limes, do use those. If you can't, you can use regular limes. I'm going to be using the zest from all those limes in this recipe. And we have some coconut milk. Now what I did with the coconut milk is I took the can and I put it in the freezer for just a short amount of time so that the fat would rise, and I could just scrape that off and use that in the recipe. We'll need some coconut oil, a little bit of salt, and some honey. Now for the chocolate drizzle on top of our pie, I'm going to be using some cacao powder here, or cocoa powder, however you want to call it. And we'll use some honey to sweeten it up, coconut oil, vanilla extract, and a touch of salt. All right, we're ready to start with our crust. So I'm going to take my cashews, and I'm going to take half of them here, which is about a cup, place them into the food processor, along with all of the dates, the coconut that was toasted, which I recommend you do that step, guys, because it really makes a difference. It makes that coconut just taste so much better. And just a pinch of salt. Now we're going to pulse this till it's crumbly, but not, overly processed, not mushy. All right, let's have a look. So most of it's pretty small. You can see it's grounded up and it's soft. It's a little bit sticky, and that's good because that way it'll press nicely into the pan. Here's one big piece that didn't get chopped up, but this is pretty good. So now we're just going to pour this right into our pie plate and press it in. I love this crust because it has just a little bit of sweetness to it. It's really good. So just spread it out. Now guys, you can certainly substitute your nuts if you want to. You can use almonds or walnuts, but I happen to like the cashews the best because they have that nice little sweetness to them, and I think it works really well in this recipe. So okay, so now that we've got our crust put together, now all we have to do is start working on our filling. So to make our filling, it's really simple. We're going to put everything into a high-speed blender. Now I recommend using a blender because a food processor isn't going to get it as creamy and rich-like as the blender will. So if you have one, please use a blender. So we're going to just throw everything in. Here's our cashews, the fresh lime juice. Now we're not adding the zest yet. That's going to come last because I want to have those little specks of lime zest on top, kind of floating around, so you can actually see them and taste them better. We're going to place our avocado right in there. Here's our coconut milk, our coconut oil, and our honey. Now you get to play around with the honey a little bit depending on how sweet you like this. So I like to start off with a tablespoon, and then you can always add more. And here's our pinch of salt. So we're going to blend this up now for about a minute until it's nice and creamy and very smooth. All right guys, so this is what it looks like. You're going to want to taste it right here and see if you got enough honey in there. I like that. That's perfect for me, but you know, like this is the time when you would add more if you needed more. So now I'm going to add the zest to this, and I'll just stir it in. So now we're just going to pour this filling right into our pie crust. All right, so now that we've got all the pie filling in the pie, we need to put this in the refrigerator for a good hour or so before we add, our chocolate drizzle. Now we're ready to make our chocolate drizzle. So I got a saucepan here, and I'm going to add my coconut oil to this. And we're going to whisk in the cocoa powder. So now we're going to head on over to the stove and heat this up. So I'm going to put my temperature on medium-low to start. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, just a half a teaspoon or so of vanilla extract, and I'm going to add the honey. And I'm just going to mix this up until the honey, incorporates into the chocolate. It still feels a little clumpy right now, so it'll take a few minutes. So the chocolate has cooled down enough so that now I can place it into a Ziploc bag, which I have right here, and then I'll snip off the end of it, and that'll make it easy to drizzle over our pie, which is still chilling in the refrigerator. Okay, so just snip off a little bit of that tip. You don't want to make it too big because then it comes out too fast. And then we're just going to squeeze it down. And if you just want to use a spoon and just drizzle it over, you can do that too. All right, so this has got to go back in the fridge and really chill up, like I said, so everything's firm. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to cut it. I do have a pie here that I made earlier so that I could have it ready for you when I was done decorating it. Now you can see here my pie has a little piece missing already. I wonder who ate that. Might be me. Okay, so let's go ahead and slice into this. All right, guys, I think it's time for a taste so I can tell you what it's like. All right. A definite lime taste, very key lime flavored. Delicious, guys. It's creamy, very creamy. It's rich, it's decadent. You probably want a small slice because it is so rich. The crust is nice with the cashews. It's nice and it has a little sweetness to it. And then it kind of complements the tartness of the filling. The chocolate on top, of course I love chocolate, so how can you go wrong with that? So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please share it. If you know somebody who might want a delicious paleo or gluten-free recipe, share this with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button right up there, and that way you'll be notified every week when a new video comes out. So thanks again, and if you have a request for me, leave it down below in the comments. We'll see you next time, everybody.